Hey there, everyone. Happy Sunday. Crypto video coming out for you because we got big news from the SEC this weekend that could further crypto adoption and really start to amp up some of those prices of our favorite cryptos that are out there, such as XRP, Solana, Cardano, for those of you who are fans out there. It could also help out Ethereum, which, come on, man. Like, that thing just needs to really move for us. I'm going to cover some of the news and the cryptos in this video with their technicals for what I want you to see in the charts. So let's jump right into it. So the news first. So this came out. I realize I'm not the first to break this unless the first video that you've seen on this, in which case you're welcome. XRP news today. This is from Saturday morning, as a matter of fact. So yesterday would be that day as I record this. SEC approves NASDAQ index, including XRP, ADA, Solana, and XLM. And those of you following XRP news know that the ETF approval has been something people have been chomping at the bit to get. And right now it's looking like it's nearly a surefire thing by the end of this year. There is a decision coming up, by the way, for XRP, the Franklin Templeton Spot ETF. June 17th is the extended filing deadline, or when the SEC has to extend the review to. So that's the deadline that they have to give their decision on whether or not to approve Franklin Templeton Spot ETF. And this news from the SEC, including XRP, Cardano, Solana, and Stellar Lumens into the index, is big news because that can show that the SEC is starting to relent on some of the restrictions that they have. And they say that there is significant liquidity in here to allow them to be part of that index, which, mind you, was one of the issues that was holding Bitcoin ETFs back originally. Ethereum may have also been one of the issues for that as well. XRP also has their Apex 2025 coming up on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of June. So that's also looking good. If we look at coin market cap, in terms of the index, right now we got 70% of the top 100 is made up by Bitcoin, 10% by Ethereum, XRP 4.43%, and then where's my friend Solana, 2.66% for that one. Cardano coming in at 0.78, all the way down here. And by the way, there's Sui. Come on, Sui, you can do it. 0.36. We'll talk about the technicals of that in this video as well. And guys, if you want to see more of my technicals, see my analyses, my buys and sells, you guys can do that over in the Discord. Links in the description. Code word doctor when you sign up for the earner tier. It's going to get 50% off your first month. I'll tell you more about that later. In the meantime, I want to get into the charts on each of these and talk about what could be coming our way, because it's absolutely getting intense out there for what we got going on for crypto. So check this out. For Bitcoin, we'll kick things off with the big dog on the porch. We caught support at the 50-day simple moving average. You can see that on Thursday, on Friday, drifting up a little bit on Saturday, probably helping, bolstered by that news. This 20-day is important to get back up on top of 106,289. Now, mind you, just north of that, just to put up my technicals for a moment, I talked weeks ago about this resistance and the trouble we'd have with it. We had that trouble. I said we break up above that, we likely get the new all-time high. Well, we got the new all-time high at 112,000 per BTC. Then this thing, we couldn't sit on top of the 111,377, so we fell back down, and then we came back down 104,324, broke down through it, but quickly rebounded. Now we find ourselves back up at this resistance. If we can sit on top of it again, and if we get volume support coming in with it, that can really help us out. So far, not that massive volume that we have seen in the past. It's still sort of tapering off. Sitting on top that 20-day, as I mentioned, is going to be absolutely critical to see if we continue higher for Bitcoin in the near term. And now, mind you, that's big news from the SEC to further that crypto adoption and to really push for that validation for crypto in the investment space. And it really also allows institutions to dig in more to it. And that's where that big money is. And that's why you have that excitement. Now, Ethereum was already part of that index, but having its own troubles along the way. And if I put the technicals up, you guys can see that we caught that support, didn't have that same strong recovery that we had for Bitcoin, but it still has that same trouble with that 20-day. We got to get on top of it. Differently than Bitcoin, it's still down below its 200-day. We got to push up above that, but the 20 comes first. Get on top of the 20, then we can fight again for like the 7th time or something with that 200-day moving average. This news could be the thing that helps to push it up. We're going to have to watch and see, because that news broke over the weekend. So we didn't get to see the major markets trade for this. Now, mind you, everything that I said in my previous videos about market bias, about all the news in the background, we have the tariff news that we have to worry about. We have the Fed meeting coming up to worry about. Liquidity is something that we absolutely want to dump liquidity onto the markets, and that's going to allow the markets and the risk assets to really take off. Crypto being just wedged right in that space. It's currently Bitcoin season right now. Rabbit season, duck season, Bitcoin season is where we find ourselves. We need to move on to that altcoin season and really see these other ones pump. And like I said, I think, haven't said it in this video, but I said in the past that Bitcoin's probably going to lead us, and then we're going to get that tail whip effect through the smaller market caps and easier to move cryptos that are out there as well. So let me toss this back up here for Ethereum. Got to get back up on top of that 20. The RSI is looking great, sitting just south of 54. So we're in bullish territory. Definitely not overbought like we were when we first got here and tested out the 200-day. We fully reset. We tiptoed down to bearish territory on this big red candle day, and now we're recovering a little bit. But once again, get on top of the 20, and we'll go from there. And then just for a moment here, we'll look at the weekly and the monthly for Ethereum. Weekly, we're at 52 for the RSI. Very solid. Let's keep going. And now, mind you, I wanted to show you this. Look at all this indecision that we've had. Nearly a month-long indecisive battle. I should say we're under 4 months because we're in the month of June right now. June could decide the direction that we go. We're above the 200 week. So this is 3 weeks, and then so this is 4 weeks. So yeah, about that month that I was talking about. My goodness, Doc. Keep it together. All right, so we're looking at the weekly chart. Just to be clear, we're down below the 50 week, just like we were down below the 200 week. Getting on top of that would be absolutely wonderful. Staying on top of the 200 week is absolutely incredible, which is also about where we find that 200-day EMA as well. And just a quick peek at the monthly chart, we're sitting right at 50. We are so ripe for Ethereum to blast off. We just need the circumstances for it to happen. It's why I stay excited about Ethereum and why I think that we could absolutely finally break out of this sideways trading and finally finish that price move up to 3,300 in the near term. XRP, biggest mover today, creeping over 5%. And speaking of creepy here, there we go. We'll put that up there for you. Crept up over the 20-day, the 50-day, pushing onto that 200, which is currently around $2.35 per XRP token. Got to get on top of that 200-day to return fully to bullishness. The RSI has crossed up above 50. That's wonderful. If we look at weekly, we're still up above 50, still bullish. If we look at monthly, we're at 66, no longer overbought. And check out these long wicks that we're getting. Look at that buying pressure that happens for XRP. Now, mind you, it is contention because we get selling pressure that seems to go right along with it, where when we had the biggest momentum recently back in January, with that big move that we got, I believe it was being named by Trump, that actually helped it out with talking about a Bitcoin strategic reserve and XRP being part of that as well. And then we also have the XRP regulation with the SEC that I think that they finally won that. That also helped to catalyze it. So big old move here, waiting for that next big thing. And like I said, we have a ton of contention right now. The bulls need to push those bears up. So back to the daily chart on this, XRP looking very good at the moment. It could potentially take off. Got to get on top of that 200-day and hold on to it as support. And yeah, I talked about the support that we had recently. We held on to it. We're coming up off of it. We have resistance around 232, more around 235, and just any amount of chop. And then if we can do that, and guys, this brings me to the thumbnail that you may have seen for this video. If this thing goes big like I think that it can go, we could see that $5 price tag this year, which means a $300 billion market cap for XRP alone, which would over double what it is right now, sitting at about 134 billion. So just think about doubling the price would also double the market cap. Now, mind you, there also is that selling pressure that comes out pretty much every month when another billion XRP get dumped onto the market. And that's already something that's well known, well documented, and expected to go on for quite a while. So we still have that fully diluted market cap to also take a look at when it comes to XRP. And that's something that's going to happen gradually over time, but it also allows for maturation in the crypto market, which currently only sits at about $3.3 trillion, which I know sounds like a lot, but Bitcoin leading the charge. I think that people also seek out diversification within crypto itself, and XRP is one of those places where there's a whole army of retail traders at its back already, and just chomping at the bit to see that it really does settle into its place for trading in the financial space, the DeFi space for crypto. So guys, let's get back into the charts here. We'll go on about some of the others here. Now, suey for this one. Man, it's got its work cut out for it. Now, I had this labeled as support. We got to switch this over to resistance because we we definitely sold down through it. It is now red. However, we found ourselves down here at this 0.5 Fibonacci retracement value and up above this 38.2. We're finally back up above it, but I'm going to take that stuff down for a moment and just talk about the moving averages, because I want to talk more about the long-term effects that we have. We have the 50 crossing above the 200-day, but the price action is below it. That's a mixed signal. The 28-day crossed down below the 50 and is now touching the 200, making this little duck-like head or goose head, if you will, with the 20 and the 200-day. That's usually kind of a bearish sign. The RSI down below 50 as well. But look at that engulfing candle that we got right there with the RSI potentially rising back towards 50. We could get a cross on this thing soon. If we want to look more near term, for SUI on this one, SUI, we are finally back up above the 5-period moving average. We got rejected off the 13 on Saturday. Got to get back up on top of that, and we're very, very close. If we can get the 5 to cross the 13, the 50 period is also right there at about 334 as I record this video. We could easily sit on top of that as well and get that 13 period cross that could send this back up. Now, we do want to watch the other altcoins and see how they're doing. I think that we could have that movement coming for it very soon back to the upside, especially with the support down here at the 200 EMA. And if we look at the 200 SMA on this one, like I said, we're down below that. So on a simple moving average basis, we have that bearish look, but it's being conflicted with, refuted with right now. So we're sort of in that middle territory for SUI. For the moment, we got to bring that back, and that's a whole tangle of lines that we're looking at. I don't think that we're down and out forever for SUI. I do think that it really does matter that we get for these EMAs to get the green back on top the yellow and the yellow back on top the red. So that way you have green, yellow, red going right down the chart, riding on top with that price action. Watch for the RSI as well. And as always, for stuff like this, watch for that volume support to come in well. That shows that really big conviction in that move. I think that tomorrow when the regular markets open and people are back from their weekends, even though crypto never sleeps, I still think the market's going to have its own influence, especially with that news that we got from the SEC. So what else we got here? Solana found some nice support right about where I said it was going to be. I said 143.30, and we actually dipped down on this all the way down to 141.53 before bouncing back up. And it's in a similar situation as per its exponential moving averages that we had for SUI on this one. Only it is well below its 200 EMA. That's the main difference, but we're back up above the 5. There's the 13 up there, just crossing down below the 50. The 200 EMA finds itself right in this area of resistance. So getting above that would be absolutely enormous. So if we actually cross and hold $166 per SOL, then we're not necessarily SOL for bullishness on this one. Instead, we can turn things around and return back to a very bullish sentiment for Solana. And I think that we could blow this previous high that we had over here out of the water, even though it's not the all-time high, which we have to look considerably left in order to find that one. There we go. We'll really do that. There we go. This thing peaked out for us all the way up at 295, so almost 300 per SOL. Now moving over to Cardano for this one, ADA, as we track ADA here, we are moving just up above the 5-day. We're still down below the 13. The 50 crossed down through the 200 on this one. So for the EMAs, that's a little death cross that we have going on there. Kind of a bearish sign for us, but the crypto market can turn things around. Hopefully ADA goes along with it. Not necessarily one of my current favorites, but I still do favor it, and we know a lot of people do, based on its market cap and the way that it continues to hold out its price. Stellar Lumens on this one, once again, a very similar look, trying to return to bullishness. So what's my overall take on what we have going on right now? So Bitcoin, there's a lot going on that it needs to actually break through its resistance. If it can, it could help to bring some of these altcoins back to life. We are so darn close to returning back to bullishness that we're at that teeter-totter moment, but this could be that week that we shift things back over to full-on bull moment, and we'll know because we'll either break those moving averages or we're not going to break those moving averages. And I think that these next 2 weeks are very critical based on what we have, especially where monetary policies involved with the Fed. We have to watch for that, plus the inflation reports that we have coming out as well. And then further crypto news, we'll see how the SEC news affects the crypto market as well when regular trading resumes on Monday. So that's coming up for us in, well, less than 24 hours, and we'll know some of the results of that. We'll know how things are really playing out. And I think that we are going to see the US stock markets have their impact that are going to help swing crypto one way or another. That risk environment's really going to help us out. Now, guys, I mentioned the Discord before. Down in the description, code word DOCTOR gets you 50% off your first month sign up when you sign up For the Discord, using the earner tier, that's where you're going to get unrestricted access to everything that's offered to the community members. You should check it out using that code word. And trust me, what you find over there, the products, the services are seemingly endless. It is a whole ecosystem there waiting for you to help support your journey, whether it happens to be crypto or stocks or bonds or whatever, financial freedom, building alpha in your portfolio. There's a team of experts. I'm one of them that's over there. You guys can follow my analyses. You can follow the other experts' analyses that are over there. We're all there to support you throughout that process. And like I said, code word doctor is going to make it a little bit easier as you transition into that Discord. We'd love to have you over there. The community already has thousands of members, and you guys can add to that. And it's the best community that I've ever had the chance to be a part of. And then guys, also down in the description, if you want to learn about trading options, if you want to learn about technical analysis, like I showed in this video, using the technical analysis trading strategy using the bread recipe developed by my best friend Stockmo, and that's why you see it through Stockmo Academy. Not only because he is my best friend, but also because he and Mrs. Mo put together the most rock solid courses for finance, for technical analysis, for trading, for options that I've ever seen. I have 17 years in education myself and an earned doctorate, a master's degree in instructional technology. It is my job to put together curricula like that, learning materials like that, and I wouldn't change a single thing about them. They are just that good. Bundling the course is going to save you a ton. Code word doctor, same code word as you use for the Discord, is going to save you a ton more. Guys, thanks for watching. Let me know your favorite cryptos down in the comments of this video. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.